Hello, this is Anna Imagination with the Healing Garden, and thank you for joining me for Shifting Perspectives. So, this is something that I'm going to call the spectrum of emotional healing. There is this thing in psychology when you just look at this basic graph, it's A, B, C, and then D. Anytime we grow, we go through this plateau of A, and then we hit this B point where things just plummet. It's like it declines and then it plummets. It's like a little pickup, and that plummet is the C point. And then it jumps back up to D. And then it so this is off of that. I noticed as I was growing and gaining more and more mental discipline that when I hit a C point, it was taking longer to get to C point. So A would last a lot longer. And then it would dip and the dips would go down. Now, when it first happened like this, I was in a really bad place. This is something I noticed when I was 15. Okay, so when I was 15, I would do little emotional graphs and I would graph out my mood swings and my behavioral patterns. And then I would analyze the data to monitor for patterns that may not have been normal. I just realized that that may not have been normal. I might still have all the data. And after a year of graphing out my mood swings and the severity in which I fluctuated between positive emotions and negative emotions, most 15-year-olds just go on dates. No, this is what I did. Um, I noticed that there was a significant increase in my mood swings as I monitored and did work with more psychology. So then I would tweak my psychology and then I would apply it to my brain and then I would watch my moods fluctuate and I would graph them all out and I would see what works, what didn't, what would benefit it and what wouldn't. So after doing that for 30 years, I have this graph. And this graph is basically based off of all of that data that I accumulated over 30 years, using myself as my subject. And I would start off with A. Now, this is interesting. This would be like, let's say, I don't know what frequency what this would be. Now, when I first started doing this graph was way below down here, like it was all the way down there. And as I healed and got mentally better, this graph moved up until, do you see this line here? This is the manifestation zone, right? Do you see this B here? So A is here. This is where your where you feel good, you feel normal. And then you dip. Now, when you dip, this can get pretty low. This is suicidal range, depending upon where you are on this map. This is where things get bad. But at the end of a dip, things always get better. Now, they always get better than they were before. This is how we grow. And then this happens again, and then there's another dip, and then we spike back up. So there is always a significant dip prior to every spike. Now, this is the best part. A, as you heal, A gets longer. So this may have been taken at first maybe a few hours, then maybe a few days, and then maybe a few months. And then this dip, when that happens, the spike basically hits up to here. So this is basically where you would see it getting longer. That's what I'm trying to say. And as it gets longer, the dips get lower. It's not so much the dips get lower, but the whole graph shifts up because you've spiked this much until I noticed this line right here. Now, the last time I dipped, things were bad. In fact, things were bad. Things were fucking bad the last time I dipped. I dipped back in, about a month ago I dipped. No, 2 months ago now. And then this is the first time I dipped and I did not go below the manifestation line. I dipped and I stayed above it. Now. It's an amazing shift. It's amazing. It's the first time I dipped and I stayed above the manifestation zone. I'm in the frequency, like solid now. And now I'm way up here and I'm going, whoa, this was without a doubt. And this is the other thing, is B, this got longer. These, the low points, they started off really long and then they would get shorter as well. So it's not so much that there's a spike down, it's that you plateau in the B zone. So this is really it, is you get down there and then you're there for a while and then you spike up again. So that's something that's not taken into account is A, you come down. Yeah, I got that. Okay, I see now. So A is here, you come down and then you're in B for a few days, a few hours, a few weeks, and that stretches out and then you spike. So you can be in that low zone for a while. And when you're having bad days, that's what you're coping with. That's what you're dealing with is your low point. So yeah, it always gets better. It always spikes. All it is an emotional dip, probably reflected based upon the hormones that our brains are releasing at the time that we're experiencing all these different emotions. The emotions send out a surge, and the surge immediately shifts our mindset. So our mindsets are literally creating our hormonal depression because our mindsets are not focused on the correct thoughts. There's no discipline there. Once you discipline, then the thoughts stop, and then the hormone releases stop, and you stop seeing those drops that take place. So that's another thing that's going on. But less and less it's happening. So eventually that growth will stop. And when you have a low, it's just it's okay. It's nothing you can't handle. It's yeah, but it dips from that abundance down to the scarcity. That was the other part of that. I think that's all I had to say on that. Is it was a really like because I'm like doing research like crazy today, and yeah, after the last 2 days, and I'm having a lot of epiphanies. And one of the things that I realized was when I dip, I was dropping like all the way down. It was, but not anymore. Yesterday was my first dip in my life. That when I dipped, I stayed above ground. I stayed still in positivity. It was amazing. The entire difference. I stayed positive. I didn't even cry. It was a completely different experience. To not get swept away with it. It was a logical conversation. I could feel myself low. I could feel myself, yeah. And then it popped back up, and it's like, all right. And here's the thing, and this is the question that I have is, how much does that correlate with the alignment of our partners, with the alignment of our own moods? Like you have your relationship with yourself and you have your relationship with the partner. So technically, when you enter into a relationship, you are entering the relationship with 4 different people, because you are your relationship with you. This relationship is going on. This relationship is going on, and this relationship is going on. So you have 3 different couples happening. 1, 2, and then 3. Yeah, you have 3 different couples happening. And this one needs to be great, and this one needs to be great in order for this one to work great. But we're not doing that. And then when you're dealing with things like these mental growths, with these dips, that just adds to the equation, horribly so. All right, well, thank you so much for joining me. And if you love shit like this, subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you want more shit like this, subscribe to my Amphitheater and get the Healing Garden daily regimen self-care plan. And if you cannot get enough of shit like this, take a look at becoming a member and grab your healing journey plan. Thank you so much, and may the kindest of words always find you.